Hit me.
Couple years ago, there was a show. The show, it was on Netflix. You ever heard of it? Netflix?
Um, I have. I have.
It was called QB1 Beyond the Lights. It was the first season, and on this show, they followed three high school quarterbacks who are highly touted high school quarterbacks in the country, right? Three of the highest rated quarterbacks in the country, right? They followed Tavon Bowers, who's the PA guy. He was out in Harrisburg area. He, I
Okay.
think, went to Wake Forest, but really never did anything. Then they followed Jake Fromm, who
Oh,
he was from Valdosta, I don't know where, somewhere in Georgia, right? And then he graduated from high school, then played at the University of Georgia
mm-hmm.
Bulldogs,
Mm-hmm.
right? Went to a national championship game, ended up losing to Tua Tagovailoa after he filled in for Jalen Hurts,
Bama,
right?
Bama, Bama.
Yep. But there was a third quarterback on that list, all right? And this guy is touted as possibly the greatest high school quarterback of all time. He
Okay.
played for an incredible school, right? But I'm hard pressed to find any Pro Bowlers that were on this school. So it wasn't like he was carried by the rest of the team. And I watched. I mean, they showed his senior year, and he really did do a lot of a lot.
There was no. He didn't have a Derrick Henry on his squad to
No,
carry him, to 13 wins a season.
no, he was a dual threat, right? Some of his stats. Here we go, Bern. This guy's name is Tate Martell. And
Oh
so,
yeah.
yeah, at the age of 14, he got a full ride to Washington. He committed there and then eventually would decommit, right? And
Sure.
then after that, he goes to Bishop Gorman High School, and he attended Bishop Gorman to succeed quarterback play of Randall Cunningham Jr. for his sophomore, junior, and senior seasons, right?
Oh boy.
Yeah. So he played 3 years at Bishop Gorman High School. He had 15 games a year. He won
Okay.
three national championships.
Oh boy.
He went 45 and 0 in the 3 years, never lost. He played a
What?
national schedule. So he played the Mater Days. He played the St. John's Boscos. He played the Florida teams. He played the Allen in Texas. Like he played all those teams, right? They even showed it on the documentary. And the game he had against St. John Bosco is like a triple overtime. Had to go for two to win it. It was incredible, right? So
So battle
as
battle battle tested, right? I mean, you
battle
think this kid
tested,
is battle
dude,
tested?
battle tested. As a sophomore, he threw 124 or 200 attempts, 124 completions, right? His
Okay.
completion percentage was 62%. His passing yards as a sophomore, 2,537.
Oh
He
boy.
threw 40 touchdowns and
40.
two interceptions.
Ew.
Yeah, yeah. He had a
Ew.
quarterback rating of 141.3. And then rushing, 73 rushing attempts for 433 yards, averaging 5.9 yards a carry with five rushing TDs. So he had 45 touchdowns total as a sophomore.
Jesus.
45 touchdowns total,
Okay.
200 passing attempts, two picks. Not
That's
bad.
outrageous. Yeah, I think
Outrageous.
100. What do you say? 143.3, or was it 147.3?
141.3 is his
I
rating, his
I
quarterback rating.
think I think like 141.7 is like a perfect QB rating. Like
Yeah.
he's literally decimals away from having kind of
Pretty
a perfect season.
pretty good for a
Not
sophomore.
not too. Oh, I forgot he was a sophomore. Jesus Christ.
Sophomore. Yeah. So
Okay.
then junior year, 2015, Bishop Gorman High School, they win another national championship. He played 15 games, 15 and 0. He's 30 and 0 after his 2 seasons there. He had 237 attempts passing,
Okay.
133 completions. His completion percentage was 56.1. His passing yards, he had 2,608 passing yards. He had 32 touchdowns passing. He had 6 picks this year. Got a
Okay.
little, got a little sloppy. Hey, junior year, he's a big star now. He's probably just busy,
Yeah.
He's
Well,
trying not to get dome on the sidelines at halftime. You know what I
he
mean?
he finally got his driver's license. You know what
Right,
I mean? Things were
right,
changing.
right.
He had to take French too. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Things were tough.
yeah.
Things were getting a little tougher.
His quarterback rating 123.7. He's rushing attempts. He had 98 rushing attempts, 604 rushing yards, averaging 6.2 yards
I
a
was going to say
carry.
about 6 yards carried.
Yep, and then 9 rushing touchdowns, which brought him up to 41 total touchdowns and 6 interceptions as a junior.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Now, Bern, we're getting to the big Megillah here. All right, we're getting to senior year.
Senior year, baby.
He would once again win a third national championship with Bishop Gorman. This year would be documented in the QB1 Beyond the Lights season on Netflix. He'll become a national star. I mean, he was already, millions of followers, but at this point, he would get national recognition as well as his sister, who, shout out, uh, but he went 15-0, bringing his career high school record at Bishop Gorman High School to 45 wins and no losses. His
Jesus.
completions, he had 215 passing attempts and 136 completions. Completion percentage, highest of his high school career, was 63.3%.
Yeah.
He had 2,362 passing yards,
Okay.
41 passing touchdowns.
Wow. So you see the efficiency there, right? He was always hanging around that like 2,600 mark, went down to 2,300, but the completion percentage skyrocketed and the touchdowns went way, way up. So just getting way more efficient
Right.
throwing the
He
ball.
had 41 touchdowns and 1 interception.
Ew.
Passer rating of 138.2. Pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you
Then,
average this guy out, he's like a passer rate. That's probably his average passer rating, like 138. In high school, pulling from your sophomore year as well, where you're 15. The
yeah,
shoulder pads don't even fit.
right. He liked to run it a little more as a senior. He went
Okay.
to 146 rushing attempts. He had 1,257 yards. He averaged 8.6 yards a carry, and he
Okay.
had 21 rushing touchdowns, bringing his senior total to 62 touchdowns in his senior year.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
This guy,
pretty
this
good.
guy is on like Derrick Henry levels of like he's pushing like 150 touchdowns in high school, and that's only 3 years.
Yeah, yeah. 3
That's
seasons.
wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
On a national schedule too. Like, remember, Derrick Henry, his best season, he went 10-4 and lost in the semifinals. This guy won 3 straight state titles, 3 straight national titles, and he played a national schedule. So he played the best teams in the country.
15-0
Yeah.
every
He
year.
fucking
Every
he won.
year.
He's a winner. He's a winner. Say what you want. Boy did some winning. And then career stats, like I said, 45-0. He had 652 attempts for 393 completions. He had overall his career passing percentage was 60.3. His total passing yards was 7,507 yards in 3 seasons
Ooh,
in 45 games.
that's all right. So we're talking like stud of stud. Like I don't know what Peyton Manning did in high school, but
Oh, we
like if
should look that up.
we should, but we'll get there one day. But it probably
Yeah.
wasn't. It probably wasn't 160 touchdowns and almost 8,000 yards passing.
But also, like,
right?
think about it. Like, remember, dude, Derrick Henry had monster stats, but he was playing against the dirt dick Florida teams, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if they played a national schedule. I doubt it. If you're
I
going
don't.
10-4,
I don't think.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But also, Derrick Henry had the advantage of his freshman year. He
Right.
had a whole other year on the
Right.
stat sheet.
But
You
also,
know?
like, he wasn't playing the best competition available. This kid played the best competition there was, and he won.
And Derrick Henry was losing 3 or 4 games a season and
Right.
never won a state
Best
title.
season they had was 10-4, lost in the semifinals as a state championship. Like that's this kid
Wow.
is he's like the state title. Are you kidding me? That's like a Tuesday to this kid. He's looking
Yeah.
at national
Yeah.
championships.
State title? Get the fuck
Come
out of
on.
here.
Come on.
Come on.
So his career passing yards 7,507, career passing touchdowns 113. He had 9 interceptions with a QB rating of 134.1. His average after 3 years. And then for rushing, he had 317 rushing attempts. He had career rushing yards was 2,294. His career average was 7.2 yards a carry, and he had 35 total touchdowns rushing, bringing his touchdowns total to 148 total touchdowns, which
What a
is
monster.
crazy.
Monster.
Crazy.
Monster.
Yeah.
Jesus.
On it,
All right.
dude, I can't reiterate this enough. On a national schedule, like they're
Yeah.
flying to California, they're
Right.
flying to Texas, they're playing. Like, come on, dude. This is like,
There are probably
he,
like FBS college teams that they could hang with. You
yeah,
know?
right,
Like they give
yeah.
Villanova a run for their money. You know?
So,
Hey, Holy Cross, we see you. So this kid, I mean, destined for greatness, right? I mean, absolute
right,
stud. The numbers are there. The dual threat is there. He's been
right,
battle tested. He knows how
totally.
to win.
Right.
Destined for
Biggest
greatness,
games on the
right?
biggest stage. Right.
Yeah.
So, like I said, he initially committed to Washington when he was, 14, but he said F off. And
No
then,
one. If you recruit somebody at 14, the odds that they're going to show up at your school when they're 18 is like 1%. Like all
yeah.
these guys who get recruited that young decommit. All of them.
So he changed his commitment and then would later commit to Texas A&M. And then he
Okay.
said F off to them as well. And
Mm-hmm.
then after he decommitted to A&M, a month later he committed to the Ohio State University, and honestly, really never amounted to much in, you know, in in uh in college. He was a backup to Dwayne Haskins. You know what I mean? Uh,
R.I.P. Right.
yeah, yeah. And then Justin Fields, he would then who would later be on the
QB1.
QB1 Beyond the Lights in like the third season. When Justin Fields announced that he was going to go to Ohio State, that's when Tate Martell transferred to Miami, right? And he really
Okay.
never got on the field there either. And then I think he tried wide receiver for a little bit, really didn't do much. And
One of
then he
those moves.
transferred to UNLV, and he only played 2 games with 1 pass attempt during the 2021 season due to injury. So he really, I mean, really didn't do a whole lot in
So
college.
2021 season. So he might have gotten an extra year or two from all that COVID shit that happened
Yeah, he
as
had he
well.
had 5 years. He had 2 years at Ohio State. So he redshirted in 2017. Then
Okay.
2018 would be his most. He would be the most he did at Ohio State. He had 23 completions on 28 attempts
That's one
and
game. It's one game.
269 yards passing, 1 TD. And then his quarterback rating was 174.6. And then his rushing, he had 22 rushes for 128 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he had 3 touchdowns in the game he did play. But I don't know who they played. They could have played fucking Joe Dick State or something. And then in 2019, he really didn't do much at Miami. And then 2020 COVID year, he opted out. And then 2021 at UNLV really didn't do much there either. So
This is the
yeah,
weird. Like talk about. I mean, like this doesn't happen really with like basketball players, right?
No.
Like if you're the best high school basketball player in the country, you go to a big school and you end up most of the time being one of the best college basketball players in the country. Now the pros are always a different level, right? I mean, not everybody hacks for the pros. But like, goddamn, if quarterback is not the hardest position to play in all sports and like the least predictable for like, I mean, you look at like every year in the NFL draft, like 6 or 7 quarterbacks go. And like maybe 2.5 of them end up working out. It's such a weird position to try to predict who's going to be successful. You give me that kid's resume and you're like, there is no way he doesn't go to a Big 5 school, start for 3 years, get drafted, and maybe have a couple years. Let's say he's not great, like a couple years as a backup, but he's on a squad. He's getting a check. Like, man,
dude,
brutal.
Also, like, he just missed the NIL thing. Like, had he done the NIL stuff, I mean, forget about it, dude. He would be, I mean, he would have been, like, because of the Netflix stuff, like, going into college, he would have been, like, just the biggest deal, you know?
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't have mattered for him that much, right? Because he would have made a couple $1 million just going into school.
Yeah.
And he'd have that to lay back on.
Big time.
Tate Martell, wherever you are, man, I hope you're doing okay. Because, I mean, can you imagine what you think your life's going to be? And listen, we all think our life's going to be something when we're 17. And then eventually we all turn 40 and go like, well, that was a fucking
what a
not
waste.
So much. But imagine what that kid was thinking. And of course he was. Why wouldn't he?
Yeah. So, Bern, well, that does it for the story of old Tate Martell.